most people don't ask. I don't know what their response is usually. I get a little bit carried away. I get a bit happy about talking about coffee. I start talking about, you know, the natural process of them raising on the tree and the fruity flavour being imparted, and the wash coffee just being fermented overnight and unadulterated and blending it together. Like I think about the quality of life that the growers get to have, and then but I don't know what people think. It's a bit like Pokemon. When you talk about this flavour or wine, like wine wankers, it's like not really that important and meaningful. But if you can have that moment, a moment in a day when you have that bliss, you get that little moment of quiet loveliness, you know, it takes you away from your world. That's nice. I built a coffee cart a long time ago, and just because that was the resources I had, and I knew how to weld, and I had a bit of scrap about, and an old fella to help teach me, but moving to the coast, and I was a handyman for a while, and I worked for this big old company, and I just wanted to work for myself. My mother and my wife were like, no, set the coffee cart up on the side of the road. You know, that's a surefire thing. You know, you got the traffic, no worries. And I was like, well, what about a shop? And they're like, no. There's no one in town. It's all in recovery. Like, don't do that. And I got sober for a couple weeks, and my back went. And after about 8 days, and my sobriety went with it. But that second toke of that joint, I was like, oh, don't listen to Mum or Steph. Bugger it, you know. And so I went off and quietly behind their back started, you know, calling around, and met the people who own the shop, and started calling my coffee man and gathering the gear. And before anyone knew too much about it, it was all underway. And to have my coffee maker who come from the growing industry, which is usually baristas become roasters. So to have a grower who travelled to South America and was deep involved in it, being my teacher and my mentor and my coffee guru. I do want to see us keep going forward. I don't want us to poison our rivers and shit where we eat, and you know, like it's about not just, you know, input in, waste to the side, and keep the money counter ticking up, but keep it going round. Like, you know, the waste from my coffee beans goes to the garden of my flower grower. You know, it's like, it's just on every level we can keep the circular economy going, you know. Like a circular economy is more the product comes from the area, it gets used, the waste gets reintegrated into biological systems of fertilizing it back again, and it's rather than just having a waste economy. Like, there's no such thing as waste, you know. The stuff's all got to stick around. Why not use it in a way that we can reuse it and keep it all going?
What kind of products can you make from coffee waste?
Oh, I heard someone pressing it into cups or something. You know, you can press it into like items, but they reckon it's. Oh, and this is one of them, is it? Made out of coffee ground. Fancy that. See, I thought that was the case. I mean, this is pretty good. This is circular economy, isn't it? It goes right back to the cup. Cup of coffee to change the world. I don't think a cup of coffee can change the world, but it's a piece of it. If you do your best in all endeavours, surely good things amalgamate, more than the sum of your parts. So if the coffee is made well, and you're paying your staff good, the environment that people come in are warm and welcome, and the chicken's not made from some torture factory, you know, it's all the things that add up. Coffee is one of the biggest crops in the world, you know. Like, if we were all sourcing organic coffee, and we're all sourcing coffee that had standards of you know, not human suffering, then it would make a huge difference in the world. So in that sense, I guess a cup of coffee does make a difference. Being part of the community is lovely. It's and I'm a bit hermity. I'd rather just hide in the bushes or quietly, but I'm trained in coffee, and I'm trained in hospitality, and I do generally love people, so it wears me all the humaning, but it's at least I feel like I'm doing good for the world, you know. Yeah, it's the little seeds that sprout into trees. Like, the Northern Rivers is the rainbow region, you know. Like it is a place where there's lots of people who want to do good for the world. We're also economically challenged, you know. Like there's a lot of people with, you know, with big housing crisis, and single mums are quite prevalent around here. And it's the coffee shops that you get together, or yeah, it's not so much the pubs, but where people meet community and things spread and spawn. You know, this place is nice. You know, it's getting colourful, and so I think this coffee shop is making a difference. We've got the prayer flags at the front, and flowers everywhere, and comfy places for people to sit, and chess games, and you know, young fella plays a game of chess with an old fella, and that ancient apprentice kind of drive in us kicks off, and the world gets a little better. I don't think I'd have the hubris to say that coffee, little coffee, is going to make the world a better place, but it's an excuse to gather around a table with other humans, and that is what makes a better world.
All right, Sam, on the road trip to, and I will keep saying Nimbin, but we're not going to Nimbin. Where are we going?
Rosebank.
Rosebank. What's
Yeah.
happening in Rosebank?
Gonna go see the coffee roaster and my coffee guru, and learn a thing or two about sustainability and coffee industry in general.
Circular economy, maybe?
Hey, let's go with my magic circular economy cup.
Ha! The Huskies. See you in a bit.
Let's start in here, and we can go through, and I'll show you the brains of the operation and what happens, and how you know we do that, and then we might go and sit up in the back and have a cup of coffee and enjoy the fruits of our labours. Come on in. Yeah, well, there's at least 3 big pythons, and 2 of them are at least 4 metres, and the other ones are, you know, I don't like snakes. Sandra's happy to pick them up and throw them around.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not my bag. Come on in. This is my roastery. The Northern Rivers is one of the original coffee growing origins back at the turn of the century. So it was all grown around Murwillumbah and in the hills and the beautiful volcanic soil hills around there. You know, when I first got up here, there was a real, you know, kind of evolution of my thinking on this, because one of the first things I realised when we got up here, we were dead poor, is that, you know, I couldn't eat my ideology, man. That wasn't going to feed me. You know, there were a lot of things that I had to readjust the way I look at things. And so my business was built in Nimbin. You know, it was the first Australian coffee that you could buy there, produced in a farm that's 5 kilometres out of town. Everyone loved that and they supported that. But then when I switched into the organics, you know, it was a kind of natural progression. If I couldn't continue to deliver the quality that all these people, you know, had come to accept. And Nimbin changed the world. You know, it was right because of the farm up there and the people that came through and everything. It changed the whole village was ahead of the curve in terms of the coffee revolution, you know, because we had the best people in the world forming a conga line to come up there to see what we were doing. And we couldn't take them downtown to buy a coffee because you get, you know, Lavazza down at my old mate Moody's place, you know. And so the specialty industry, you know, in the early 2000s was 1% of the global coffee industry. So you're talking, you know, mega billion dollar industry, and we're operating in that 1% at the very top of that pyramid. But more than that, we were aiming for the top 1% of that 1%. You know, we were talking tiny fractions of the global market that we were aiming at. So, you know, what's that about? That's just about quality, man. That's just about cup quality. And my ex-wife and I bought the Rainbow Cafe, and you know, that changed. We needed somewhere to be able to take visiting coffee luminaries to take them downtown for a cup of coffee. So we had to buy a cafe so we could do that, And I've had 3 World Barista Champions make coffee for me in Nimbin. It was just a conga line of the world's, best people coming to check this place out. Previously I had my coffee roasted by my guru in Sydney, and that was, I think, 12 years or so we did that. But the problem with having your coffee roasted by someone who has a world-leading facility in terms of quality and ensuring quality and delivering quality is you can't step out of that system. You can't just, go and buy an old roaster and set it up and hope you're going to match that quality. You're not. So everything that I've done here was about trying to use the same templates and the same methods and the same philosophy that my guru has always roasted my coffee with. So it's very much a miniaturized, smaller scale version of what he's done.
So.
No, it's because I pull them out here when they're dry. Now, ordinarily, I roast each of these coffees to separately. That's a really big part of what I do. So rather than mixing up a whole bunch of these and then roasting them all together, that's a really serious compromise in my mind. Each of these coffees needs a different profile and a different finish and start temp and all that. So I'm just going to load up one particular origin here, and we'll just do that one roast rather than combining it all and doing it like that, which is the way a lot of roasters would do this. But I'm not prepared to compromise. I didn't realise how OCD I was until the product. They're beautiful. When he was building it in 2004, he's I'm building a coffee roaster. We drop it out of our cooling tray. This is a de-stoner, which managed to separate out any stones. We take it up into the roof up there to a buffer. We collect 15 kilograms at a time up there, and then we drop that down into our blending vat. And so I'll keep that going until I have 30 kilos in there. It'll do 50 kilos, but I just, for ease of operation, take it to about 30 kilos, and then mix all those for a good 15 minutes. So there's 3 or 4 different origins that I'm roasting separately to deliver the correct profile for each of those green coffees. I'm not blending them green and then trying to, just sort of play the margins and end up somewhere in the middle. I want each of those coffees to reach their maximum potential. The only way I can do that is to profile and roast them separately, then blend them once they're roasted, and then pack them off and do that whole process. The rest of it is that bin there transports it up to the that packing bin there, which then I feed down on the conveyor table and drop them into 1 kilo bags, which then get packed off, sealed, boxed, and off to all my wonderful cafe customers. Oh. look, the coffee's been changing the world for over 300 years. It really has. The whole story of the origin of coffee from Ethiopia, you know, spreading to the Arabian Peninsula and then being purloined by the French and taken to South America. All of these origins, histories, have been affected by coffee. One way or the other, they've all been changing throughout the last 350 years. And it's always had a position in, you know, the first world of people congregating to discuss their differences and their similarities in the coffee houses of Europe of the 18th century through to you know, Samuel's place in Woodburn in the 21st century. Man, it's been fundamental in all of this stuff, and it's been a wonderful privilege to be involved in that pursuit of you know, bringing that to people in my own community and sharing what I do. I'm just so grateful for 25 years of being able to get away with this. You know, it's been a wonderful opportunity. I'm eternally grateful to the people who trained me and mentored me. You know, the Instratas and the Andrew Fords. You know, these guys changed my world as well. And each of those guys had spent half of their lives travelling throughout the world to learn this stuff, to share it with people like me. And I'm just eternally grateful to them. It's been a real privilege. So this is an absolute art form, being able to get this stuff right. So there's an extra gram of coffee in that basket there. You just slow that right down. I get excited when I see that. Not as nice as out of your machine.
Oh, it's just lovely.